Aloha, everyone. And welcome to the Hawaii Association of Family and Community Education Candidates Forum. My name is Barbara Lively, and I will be moderating tonight. I am the Vice President of the Puna chapter of FCE. Our President, Liz Sullivan, I'll introduce in a minute. So, just a little housekeeping things to go over. The bathrooms are back that way, through the doors, straight ahead by the elevators. The women's are past the elevators. We have refreshments and stuff for you all to enjoy right after the forum. I want to recognize Carolyn Sewake. She is the president of FCE for Hawaii Island. And if I could just ask the FCE members to stand up. Hi, FCE members, if they can stand up or wave. Waving is good too. Thank you guys. Liz will explain a little bit more about FCE. So I will just go over a few things about the forum itself. So this is the best forum in Hilo. Yeah. Tonight's forum is actually an opportunity for the candidates to introduce themselves to our members. So this is an FCE event, and we really, really appreciate you folks taking the time out to come and introduce yourselves to us. We are going to have the candidates come to the podium and the microphone, and just introduce yourselves, talk a few minutes about your platforms or issues that are important to you. You'll have 3 minutes exactly. We have a timekeeper here, Becky. Thank you, Bex. She's going to let you know when you have 1 minute left, when you have 30 seconds left, and when you have 15 seconds left. And then, if need be, I'll let you know when you have no more time left. Okay, so this is an opportunity, like I said, for you folks to introduce yourselves to us. This is not the kind of a forum where there's going to be debating or questions and answers and that kind of stuff. After the introductions, we'll go out to the refreshments, and hopefully the candidates will stick around and talk story with you folks at that time. Okay, so we should be able to get through this pretty quickly. All right, so without further ado, my president, Liz Sullivan.
The Hilo Association at the FCE is part of a national organization that was established in 1949. And its mission is to educate individuals and community members for the improvements of our family and our society. And we as FCE want to educate ourselves and our community members for all of the candidates that run for elected office, and we invite all the candidates to participate. Did we say that this is like our 14th year? We have the notebook, and the earliest date we have is 2004. So we believe that this is our 7th candidates forum.
Thank you, Liz. And I believe that's the 7th for FCE's actually been in existence for much, much longer than that, but it's the Puna chapter that's been putting it on for the past 7 events, which is 14 years, because we only do it every 2 years. So Liz's other duty tonight is to be a man of white of sorts. So she's going to be putting the race and then the candidates' names on the board. And she'll be trying to do it like in advance so that you'll know that you're the next one. And then I'll look over there and then I'll say, so-and-so is next. We're Ron Curtis. We're really low tech here. We didn't even need the microphone, I'm sure.
Ron's not here.
Oh, he RSVP'd, so maybe he's coming later.
Yeah, he told me he'd be going to the yoga conference.
Okay. How about Michael then?
Okay, for the U.S. Senate, Michael Hodgkins.
Thank you. So yeah, I'm running for Senate, for U.S. Senate, because I am aware of something that the media is keeping from me. And that something is called the One Belt, One Road, or some call it the New Silk Road. And if you remember, the Silk Road was Marco Polo went on the Silk Road to China and connected China and Europe. That was the old Silk Road with the camels. Now we have a new Silk Road with high-speed, magnetically levitated train system bringing people together. And this is something that I personally have been campaigning for since the early 90s. And, but in 2013, President Xi Jinping, the president of China, adopted this as China's focus for the foreseeable future, basically. And in the meantime, they've built already 25,000 kilometers of high-speed train in China alone. And they're building train infrastructure projects, port facilities. It's called the Belt and Road. And the road refers to the high-speed train aspect of it. And you can see the red marks on here. You can talk to me later. This year, there's, as you can see, the United States here and Alaska. The high-speed train will go from Chile all the way to Alaska, underneath the Bering Strait, and into Europe, into Africa, the Middle East, down all the way to Bali. You could get on a train in Seattle and go to Bali. Imagine. And so, another thing, though, that you should imagine is how many jobs this will create. We're talking millions of jobs. If you want to solve the immigration crisis in the world, create jobs for these people in the Middle East. Create jobs for the people in Africa and in North America and in Hawaii, right? This will create plenty jobs in Hawaii. So the problem is that the media, we've got, see, the problem is this, is that people say, okay, well, where are you going to get the money, right? Well, in the original way the United States was organized, it was the economic system that we had under Alexander Hamilton was called the American system. And this was attacked by the British ever since. Well,
Thank you, Michael. So that's how that goes. It's really painless, but hope you don't make me do it. Okay, so next we'll have Tulsi Gabbard's representative.
Aloha, as Tulsi would say to you this evening if she could be here, and she wishes she could be. But is in the middle of a 3-week stretch of congressional votes on Capitol Hill. She sends all of you her aloha and best wishes and appreciates the opportunity to share the following message with you. This is from Tulsi, and I hope I can get through these 4 pages. Mahalo to Elizabeth and everyone with the Hilo Association for Family and Community Education for hosting tonight's forum, and especially for your work every day to strengthen individuals, families, and our communities. I send each of you my aloha, my prayers, love, and support to our friends and neighbors who are being most impacted by Manapeli's lava flow. I've been spending a lot of time in Puna in both my congressional capacity and with the National Guard. I've been meeting with many of you one-on-one and also participating in town halls, fundraisers, and all the support I can for those displaced by Kilauea's eruptions, and visiting newly opened and planned transitional shelter sites. While it's heartbreaking to see and hear the stories of our friends whose homes, farms, schools, and businesses are gone, the strength, resilience, and aloha the people of our community have for each other, stepping up to help one another displays what Hawaii Island is all about. I've been working with the administration, FEMA, and the other members of our federal delegation to deliver resources to our people during this incredible time of need. Fortunately, we were able to get quick approval for FEMA to help residents who were displaced with things like temporary housing, home repairs and replacements, medical needs, child care, transportation, and more. While recovery efforts continue, Hawaii Island families are also faced with the high cost of living and extreme affordable housing shortage. Many are being forced to leave because they cannot afford to stay. In Congress, I've worked to expand programs that help empower local families to be able to afford a home, pass legislation that increases home ownership among Native Hawaiians, and secured federal funding to provide support and services to our homeless population. For our kapuna, I'm working to preserve and protect Social Security and Medicare, which serve the most needy and vulnerable among us, and ensure the trust fund is not created. I'm working to cut taxes and increase benefits for Social Security recipients while keeping the system strong for generations without adding to the national debt. For families, I'm fighting to fix our broken healthcare system, which is structured to increase the profits of big insurance and pharmaceutical companies on the back of our working families. This is despicable and wrong. All Hawaii families deserve access to affordable quality health care, and that's why I co-sponsored the Medicare for All Act, to extend coverage to all Americans, bring down the price of prescription drugs, and do away with the expensive deductibles, premium, and co-pays that keep people uninsured or underinsured. And overburden small businesses. This is necessary to best serve our keiki, our kapuna, our families, and neighbors. There are many other important issues facing the people of Hawaii: infrastructure, education, quality jobs, protecting our planet, caring for our veterans, and so much more. As voters,
I did want to say, though, that Tulsi was out in Pahoa just at the ending of last month. We had a town hall meeting out there. I know Hara organized, and she came, and she was awesome. So thank you. So next looks like the governor's race. Selena Blackwell, or her representative. Okay, moving on.
Maybe she'll be late.
John Carroll.
Well, we know Wendell's here.
All right, Wendell. Thank you. So, Governor, I'm sorry. Sorry, he's running for governor. Wendell Kaeho'ai'a.
This is fabulous. Now, one of the government candidates showed up. I hope they withdraw from the election before election starts. Anyway, this is fabulous. Never been like this. Most of the places I went, the forums I went, we had a full house. In the Democrat Party, we have 6 of us. And if you watch the television, you watch everything else, there's only 2 of them. But there's 4 other ones. I just want to let you know that I'm a resident of the island of Hawaii. The only candidate live on the outside islands. I live right here in Panewa, Hawaiian Homes Land. I've been there for about 38 years as a farmer. Okay, I'm a only candidate who's a veteran, U.S. Navy. Spent my time in the Far East. I was a cultivation supervisor of Puna Sugar, just before Puna Sugar closed, and the committee we had from the state government, YA was a House of Representative then. I worked for community television for about 15 years, right here in Hilo. I built 2 radio stations on this island. One radio station was built on my farm, and the other one about 6 years ago I built them in Pahala, Hawaii, or Kau. I attended the community college right here in Hilo at age 53. But out of a couple of hundred, I was the oldest. I was older than the professors that was teaching. Jeez. And from there, I moved out to the university over here. It was fabulous. Because of being involved with radio, television, before I came up to the university, I had more experience than most of the professors on the university level. So I shared my experience with my fellow students. And I got a perfect record right now in politics. I'm one of the oldest career veteran politician. Well, I'm not a politician until you get in like John Green over there, and O'Hara and all these guys. They've been in. My perfect record is 0-22. Fabulous. You know, fabulous. Thank you very much. I feel like Jack Benny coming up here. But anyway, you know, I got serious about what's going on because I was in television a long time. I filmed a lot of these guys, politicians that have been in office, and I hear their story. I film all of them, all the governors, all the House of Representatives on this island, all the Congress people. And I was really sad. Nobody had a solution. Last night on television, we have two of the candidates running for governor. Okay. Yeah, I need to get that there. Anyway, I want to say thank you very much. Mahalo, and I love your work.
Thank you, Wendell. Okay. Let's see. Gee, see if I can figure out who's going to be next. Lieutenant Governor's race, Josh Green.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for welcoming me back to Hilo. This is home to me in many ways. My aunties live up on Healy High Street, and it is absolutely great to be home. I came to Hawaii. My first job after finishing my medical training was to be a doctor here on Big Island. And the first shifts I got to work were actually in Pahoa. When I got here, they said we need a doctor in Pahoa for a couple weeks before you're going to go down to Ka'u and be the doctor. And so I worked in Ka'u for many years, and that's where I grew up as an adult. It's where I learned what our culture was about. I took care mostly of the Filipino and Hawaiian population, and I saw the struggles that we have all across our state, but in the microcosm that is Ka'u, where we had too few services. We didn't have trauma services, we didn't have drug addiction and treatment services. And my heart started to break as I was an ER doctor and clinic doctor for Bay Clinic because I saw how difficult it was. I decided to run for office to make a point, to say that we needed trauma services after I watched a child die in our ER that shouldn't have had to die, after I saw people suffer with methamphetamine addiction. And I ran for office going door to door in Kona, and because my opponent, it turns out, was a coke dealer, I ended up winning that race. And so after that, I began to develop skills and became just very concerned constantly about the needs that people have, the disparities in healthcare. I've watched the homeless crisis grow in our state, and along the way, a couple other things happened. I met a beautiful woman named Jamie, whose aunties live here. Married her, and we have babies now. Maya is 11 and Sam is 7. And it became even more important to me that I step up and become, I guess, emboldened to work on some of our biggest challenges in the state of Hawaii. After a few years, we decided as a family that the time would come where I'd run for another seat to take a bigger responsibility, and that time is now. I saw Shannon Tsutsui step out of the lieutenant governorship, who's a friend, but it was a great mystery to me when people said, why the lieutenant governorship for you, Josh? You know, there's other things to do. There are great seats and great people. Lieutenant governor can be what you make of it. I will be a humanitarian lieutenant governor. I've already begun to address the homeless crisis. If I may, a very small number of people who are homeless, mental illness and drug addiction consume a great deal of resources and continue to suffer. I've already started free clinics. We started one in Chinatown, saving over $100,000 a week of taxpayer dollars and decreasing the suffering at the same time. I'm going to do a lot of that as lieutenant governor. I'm going to make sure that we deal with the opioid epidemic. through treatment, not through incarceration. I'm going to make sure that when we have those savings, we invest in early pre-K. And I'm going to do it hopefully with a big heart. That's what my family always taught me to do. That's what I brought to Big Island, I hope, many years ago, and that's what I'd like to be as your lieutenant governor. And they say most of the battle is just showing up, and if that's the case, since I'm the only lieutenant governor candidate to show up here, I can ask for your vote. So thank you very much.
Perfect timing. Okay, and first state senator is Heather Kimball.
Thank you to FCE for organizing this event tonight. Thank you all for taking time out of your evening to come here and participate in the process. My name is Heather Kimball. I'm running for State Senate District 4. District 4 runs from Honolulu Bridge and goes all the way up to Honoka'a. It's Waimea, it's Hawaii, it's Kauai, it's Waikolo, and goes all the way down to Kona Palisades. It's a huge district, and I've been spending the last 9 months trying to canvass every corner of it and really learn and truly understand what the issues and concerns are for our community. And from this process, I've learned 2 things. First, if you want to have your faith in humanity restored, go knocking door to door and meet your neighbors. And then the second thing is that even though we have a very diverse district, there are some common themes. So let me give you a snapshot of our district. My road is like a snapshot. The family next door to me has 3 generations living in the same house that they've owned for decades. Just down the way from them, there's a young family with 5 acres. They're trying to farm, raise their kids. We have a new couple who have just come to, they're retirees, just came to Hawaii Island for a quieter life. We have a veteran who goes out, once or twice a week and waits for the bus for a ride down into Hilo. And then there's my family. My husband and I are small business owners. We have 2 daughters at home still, Lily and Kate, that are in public schools, and we're just so grateful to be able to call Hawaii home. The people of our community, they're worried about the next generation. They're worried about how their own children are going to be able to afford homes and raise their families here. We all want to keep our families close and not have to move off island to see our grandchildren. We want public schools to be adequately funded so that our children learn to love learning and to develop the skills to adapt in this changing world. We want our to be able to stay connected to the communities where they grew up. And we want to care for our environment so that the next generation will be able to experience the natural wonder of this island. We have a very generous community with people who are not just concerned about helping themselves, but who want to support the community as a whole. One resident said to me that I could have his vote if I looked him in the eye and said I would always put community first. And I took his hand and I looked him in the eye and I made him that promise as I'm making it to you now. I will always put my community first. As a scientist, a graduate of UH Hilo, a business owner, an active community member, and a paddling coach, I have the experience and skills necessary to address the complex challenges we face in our community. I will bring fresh ideas to the state legislature and an approach to problem solving that is logic-based, compassionate, and community-focused. Join me in building a brighter future. Aloha.
Okay, State Representative, District 2, Terry Napiahe. Woohoo!
Aloha mai. My name is Terry Napiahe. I was born and raised in Keaukaha. I am the daughter of Robert and Rosalani Napiahe Jr. Our family has been here for hundreds of years in Waiaka, Ahupua'a, and many parts of this Hawaiian island. I am a proud mother of 3, 2 who are in college, 1 who is here at the University of Hawaii, following my footsteps in the Business and Economics College of Business and Economics. I have another son that is in BYU Hawaii that is learning also business. They both speak speak several different languages, one Japanese and one Fijian. I have a daughter that attends Hilo High School, and I live in a Hawaiian Homes community, Department of Hawaiian Homelands. I'm a businesswoman. I own the only federal manufacturing company and processing plant that cooks imu kalope, and the only one in the nation that exports to other parts of this island. I am very proud of the fact that one of the things that I worry about is our economy, and I completely support our local businesses. I completely understand our economics. I've been here all my life. I've seen our families go through transitions of business with the downfall of our plantation. My father was a subsistence gatherer and relied on the ocean for food. And within the last couple of years, or 6 or 7 years, have been working on the health and safety issues that our community has been dealing with. Water quality, air quality here in this district. For District 2, it goes up through Waianuinui, Komohana, Hai, all the way down to Pame'ewa and into Keaukaha. Most of you know that this district is a district that carries all the businesses, all the industrial facilities, and that there has been concern about the excessive exposure of these industrial facilities. I've been working for over 7 years finding data to prove that there's a need for our community and our politicians to do research on the excessive exposure to our families. Within this district, we have several schools that are right next door. We have an airport in our district, we have the landfill, we have the waste, all of which is in your district. And they have a common denominator. They come from the harbor. Now, we talk about safety. If there is anything that is going to happen to this harbor, can you imagine what you feel now with the lava? If anything was to take out the harbor, it would be devastating. And this is where I think we need to prioritize the health and safety of our community.
Thank you. Okay. Yes, I think it's Chris. Tom. Thank you, Vanna.
Aloha, everyone. Thank you for being here today. I think a lot of us learned growing up, and I actually learned through the legislature that really showing up is definitely half the battle, and you'd be surprised what can get done by people who just bother to show up, because there aren't a lot. So thank you for being here today. I've actually held 2 town halls in this room, and this is easily the best attended. So thank you for that. So I think I got a lot of really good advice before entering the legislature, and most of that was to go in and be quiet for 6 months and be a fly on the wall, learn as much as possible. No one likes to know it all, and beyond that, when you have 51 members of the House of Representatives, 25 state senators, governor, lieutenant governor, council members, all that, government can function fine with 50 representatives. So if you go out of your way to not be a friend early on, if you go out there with a hammer, that's not going to work out, and it doesn't serve the community well. With that being said, I do have a couple minutes, so I wanted to basically just talk about why I decided to enter politics. As some of you know, my mom was on the county council back in the mid-90s, so according to her, my first time going door to door, I was actually in a stroller, so I don't know how many houses that's added up to, but probably in the tens of thousands over time. But I wasn't very interested in actually entering the political world up until very recently. I graduated from Hilo in 2012 with a double major in economics and political science. I've been coaching football at Hilo High for the last 10 years. I just started a family. I have a 5-month-old daughter. And I really put off a lot of my political interests while I was starting a family, getting into a career, running the Suisan fish market and that sort of thing. So really what it came down to for me is just a severe distaste for how politics had only been operating, especially in the past presidential election. And I felt so powerless, like I had no control over what was happening at the national level. And I really made a decision that I need to get as involved as possible here. And it just worked out in a way where the day I was meeting with my family to discuss entering politics, that was the day my representative passed away. So I deferred to them, and they said, put your name in for the appointment. It's good experience. You have no chance of being appointed, but it's good to let people know you're interested. And things just worked out that way. So I've done my best to work with my colleagues. This past year with Senator Green, we actually managed to fund 4 new positions for child welfare services in Hilo. It doesn't really get talked about, but in East Hawaii, we have 3 times the state average for child abuse. So it's something we're going to work towards. Just thank you for having me, and if you have any questions, feel free to come up.
Thank you. Okay. State Representative, District 3. Fred Vogel.
Well, 10 years ago, when running for a nonpartisan county council seat, after a forum much like this, a lady asked me, are you affiliated with a political party? After replying that I leaned libertarian, she looked in my eyes and said, "Oh, that's just a cult." It's amazing the things you can learn online. But, Garrons, if they start passing around the Kool-Aid, I ain't drinking it. Okay, libertarians stand on 2 legs. The first is individual freedom and the responsibility that comes with it. And the second is less government and the efficiencies that come with that. More personal freedom, less government, less not to like. Growing up in the 60s, I was interested in the way things work, but I really had a passion for making things work better. That's why I decided to study industrial engineering, which basically is process improvement on steroids. After graduating, my dad, pretty optimistic guy, had these words of advice. Never go into an organization that is running smoothly. Always choose an organization that has its issues. That way you probably won't screw it up any more than it already is. Okay, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that government has its issues. Okay, well, maybe a few. But someone has to plant the seeds of constructive change. If enough people water those seeds, and the water isn't too yellow, it will eventually bear fruit. If you want to see something different in government, look no further. I love the puns. Mahalo for coming and taking an interest, and thanks for not throwing anything. And, we need more voters like you. I look forward to hearing your ideas and recommendations. Aloha.
Hilo, Whitey.
Aloha, my name is Raina Whiting. I'm running for State House District 3. I'm going to start my tiny little speech in 3 minutes with a quote. The quote is from our former President Barack Obama, and it says, "A change is brought about because ordinary people do extraordinary things." And running for office in this political arena is pretty extraordinary, let me tell you. I'm a kindergarten teacher, and my partner and I, right there, have a vegetable farm in Pahala. have to shout out to him because he's pretty amazing for allowing me to do this. When we started this campaign, we started it with a few community leaders in a living room. I'm happy to see how it's truly grown to the People's Campaign. I personally knocked on 2,500 doors, and oh my God, it's been a feat. But my team has knocked on even more, and if you see, there's a number of people with Raina shirts over there, and they really deserve a big round of applause because they've truly done a lot for me, and they've really built this campaign to be what it is, so I love all of you. Round of applause. I'm running because as an ordinary person that believes that I'm an ordinary person and I believe elected officials should reflect the needs of our community, and I regret to say that as a constituent of this district, that's not what's happening right now. However, I truly believe that it can change. And it starts with voting for people like me and people in this room. There's several of them in this room. I'm proud to say that the majority of my donations have come from $100 or less donations from people in my community. And I'm proud to say that I agree to the campaign spending limits, and I am one of 4 people, 4 candidates across the state, that has filed for public funds. I'm going to end with a quote that I share in my kindergarten classroom. I teach kindergarten. We're going to go back to school in about 2 weeks' time. Unless someone like you cares a whole awful lot, nothing is going to get better. It's not. That quote's by Dr. Seuss. I have to say one other thing, is that this sheet is really telling. This is an important conversation that we're having tonight, an important opportunity for our community to see what candidates have to say. And when I look here, I'm really excited that one of my opponents is here, but the incumbent is not. And if I look at the other state Senate and state representative positions, there's only one in this room that cared to show up. So to say also, channel what Chris Todd and Josh Green said, is that it matters a whole lot to show up. So thank you so much for organizing this and having this tonight. Vote right now. Thanks so much.
And thank you for recognizing the hardworking supporters. Okay, so I don't think so. And if anybody came late, they get to go last. Council members. District 1.
I'm responsible for my first name. I told my father for that.
But did I get it right?
Thank you for speaking over me while I was mispronouncing your name.
I'm from Iran, spelled with an E and I, and I've been here 40 years of my life. I tested if you can do without it. 40 years of my life, I started in 1960. I went back to Iran in 1975 and experienced 2 dictatorial regimes, including the present one which I joined. The greatest thing about that discovery was that my faith, the Shiite sect of Islam, is actually a copy. What I want to say tonight is that we need to have an overall framework of mind within which we want to work. So why don't I start with the Milky Way galaxy? It takes between 225 to 250 million years for the solar system to go around the Milky Way galaxy once. Then we come to our own solar system. Carl Sagan had NASA in 1975 take a picture of the Earth from beyond Jupiter, about 3.7 thousand million miles, and Earth looked as small as a pixel. Get closer to the moon. When one of the 1975 astronauts, Alfred Gordon, they were getting close to the moon, he said, "Now I know why I'm here. Not to look at the moon, but to look back at our Earth." So this is our home. This is unique in the universe. It is precious, but as you know, we are not doing a very good job of keeping it. If we if we set aside all our scriptures, just make these few words a reality, not just carbon dioxide adding to the global warming, that this is a nation indivisible with liberty and justice for all. That this is the land of the free and home of the brave. If you make those a reality and make an environment for our children to reach their fullest potential across the globe, not just United States, just we are one species, and we need to work together to make this a paradise for us, as it already is for all other creatures. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so for Council District 3, yes, I saw the lovely Sue Hilo come in. I was hoping she'd want to say a few words. Thank you, Sue.
Aloha. Oh, we can do better than that. Aloha. Aloha. Thank you very much. My name is Sue Eloy. I represent Council District 3. This year, I'm running unopposed, but it does matter that you show up. So even if I am unopposed, I'm glad to be here tonight. I just want to share a little bit about the district. Council District 3 represents Keaukaha, Panaewa, Waikia House Lots, Waikia Uka, Kia'au. My district has a lot of issues, a lot of jurisdictions, so it's really important to learn to work well with others, not only at the House, but at the Senate, right on up to the governor's office. Our district has, as Ms. Napiaki mentioned, the most industrial land, the most commercial land. It has the harbor, it has the airport, it has the landfill, and the wastewater treatment plant. But one thing I've got that no other council member got is a zoo. And I'm very proud to have 2 tigers. I'm always asked why did I step up? And it's because I just love where I grew up. I grew up in Waikiauka, attended all of the public schools, the university right here, spent a professional career in land use and law, and sat on the water board. And it was an incredible experience to have gone through what I call full circle, because my very first job in college was working for Council Chairman Kalani Shuti, Russell Kokobon, and Elroy Osorio. And they weren't politicians, they were statesmen, they were public servants, and they really embedded in me what it is to serve community from a place of your heart and wanting to do what's right. And I'm so proud to be able to share that with all the other council members on the county council, work with all of the rest of our legislators, and bring home what we can to take care of our families. Because at the end of the day, that is what is the most important thing about community, is taking care of our family and looking out for the next generation. I humbly ask, I know I am unopposed, but if you live in Council District 3, please vote Eloy, because it's a message about a characteristic trait that you want other members of the county council and the legislature to see. That what you're sending is a characteristic trait to represent you and your families. So thank you very much.
Torture your name, but it's Ashley Kirkowitz.
You must watch my video.
Aloha. Thank you FCE for hosting, and thank you all for showing up, for taking the time to be here. My name is Ashley Kirkwitz, and I'm proud to be running for County Council District 4. I was born and raised on Big Island and had the opportunity to be here most of my life. I spent a few years on the mainland interning for Senator Akaka and going to school. My mother is from the Philippines and my father hailed from Massachusetts, so I know what it's like for families to assimilate here. Over the years, I've watched our community grow and change, and now I'm a mom myself. My partner, Kawina Kanilua, is a county firefighter, and together we're raising our 2 children in Paradise Park. Ari is 6, she goes to public school, and our son Toby, he's 17 months and he's like the Energizer Bunny. He's going and going until he goes to sleep. If you see me, I'm often wearing this necklace, and it holds a lot of meaning for me. My daughter and I were picking shells at Papohaku Beach on Molokai, and so I made us matching necklaces. And it's a memory that I always cherish, and it's something that I'm always working towards, is to create more memories for my family. And that's why I'm running. I want to give my kids the option to stay here, so they can make memories of their own in this special place that we are so fortunate to call home. Puna had a lot of needs before lava started flowing. We need more services and resources for Puna in Puna. And right now, with the ongoing lava situation, we have an incredible opportunity to leverage that attention and bring in resources to rebuild and strengthen Puna and uplift our entire island and its people. I'm a fan of working with community. I started Pu'uhonu o Puna Info Supply Hub with Ikaika Marzo and the community in support of the ongoing lava situation. I've personally raised $50,000 to purchase mobile showers to support ongoing disaster relief in our community. I'm already making a difference, and it shows. I've been endorsed by 5 unions, ILWU, UPW, police officers, firefighters, and operating engineers. They recognize that we need effective leadership for the district and our island, and that is something I want to be able to bring to council. My name is Ashley Kirkwitz. I'm running for county council. I'm being humbled by your support and your vote this upcoming primary election. Mahalo.
Okay. Council District 4, Aileen O'Hara.
Aloha, and thank you all for being here. And thank FCE for hosting this forum. Now, I am the incumbent, and thank you, Raina, for pointing out some of the incumbents haven't showed up. But I have, and it's important for you to know how I ended up here. I arrived in Hawaii 1980. I moved into Lower Puna, where I've always lived, and I watched it grow from a very rural place, less than 12,000 people, to nearly 50,000 people today. It's a big change, and in those changes, I've seen a lot of the deficits occur in Puna. We don't have good roads. We don't have the public safety officers that we need. And so those were some of the reasons that I chose to run in 2016. And after I reached the office, I went to council and found myself forming a majority on council because I basically get along with all the members of our county council. And in my time on council, I've managed to pass 4 bills, 53 resolutions, and I'm currently working on a bill that will be heard next week, which will likely pass. It passed committee unanimously, and that is to continue to remove abandoned vehicles from private roads. Why is this important? Over 50% of the roadways in my district are private, and they seem to be a depository for junk vehicles. So we definitely want to get this program back on track and moving again. Some of the other things that I've done are a result of what happened on May 3rd. We all know that is the date that the current eruption cycle started. It has massively changed my district. My district is the one with the river of lava flowing through it. And I've lost communities. We've lost Kapopo. We've lost a portion of Leilani. We've lost a lot of Po'owiki. And this is very sad for me. This is where I formed my memories, and this is my home turf. And a lot of the people who have been affected, who had to evacuate, are my good friends. So it's been a very painful time, but it's also a time to embrace the creative aspects of the volcano and work towards rebuilding a better Puna. And we can do that by using the resources that we have and bringing in more resources. I have experience in leveraging public-private partnerships. I worked at Helco. I worked as a specialist for the Pacific biodiesel plant, putting the Big Iron biodiesel plant on the ground. And I know how that works. So thank you very, very much.
Okay, before I introduce the last two, I just want to check to make sure, did anyone come late? Anyone that's on the list that we passed you by? Okay. So you'll be right after the second person. So right now, Council District 5, Matt Kameagigi Kleinfelder.
Hello everyone.
Hello.
Please open your biology book. 2, and let's get started on our lesson. I was sitting right there and remembering being in class in this very classroom. I was trying to remember UCB 100 and why that was important because I sat in this classroom. My name is Matthew Connolly Kleinfelder, and I'm running for District 5 for the Hawaii County Council. I'm very happy to be here. Thank you for having me at HAFCE, and for everyone who came on a Monday evening to get a little involved in politics. I really appreciate that. A little bit about myself. I'm 36 years old. I've lived in Curtistown for the last 12 years with my wife. We have raised our 3 children there. And I love my district, and I love this island. I'm very, very excited to be running for a county council position. It is new to me. I have been an electrician for the last 10 years with Provision Solar. And I'm a journeyman there, and they helped me get my license, and I love what I do. I'm a project manager, and I help from design to completion and dealing with the customer and making sure that everything's okay at the end of the day. My wife and I are small business owners. We own Nicolaiwa in Hilo. We employ roughly 40 employees, and so I understand what's involved in making sure our families are happy. As I have one, and I am in charge of 40 plus people who all have families. I see the importance of that and in small business. Sorry, check my notes, make sure I'm on track. So what's important to me is family, like I said. I understand family. I'm here to take care of our families and our small businesses. And I'm genuinely concerned about where we're headed as a district. And I feel that by being involved, I can help guide and shape where we're headed and make sure that we're headed in the right direction for our children and for their generations to come. That's a very important facet of who I am. At the end of the day, I'm here to learn and listen. Being new to this, I have a lot to learn, and I'm ready to take that on, and I'm excited to have that challenge. I like a challenge, and I like being pushed because I really do my best work, like a lot of people do, under pressure. And this is also what's really important that I've learned is I am just one of 9 members of county council. I can't get it done by myself. And I'm going to be an effective team person, and I'm just ready to take this on. So I really appreciate your vote, August 11th. Again, my name is Matthew Connolly Kleinfelder, and I look forward to helping your district.
Okay, Council District 5, Frederick Wyrick.
All right, good evening, and thank you so much for showing up this evening. First of all, I'd have to say my name is Rick Wyrick, So if you've seen those banners out there that say, "Why, Rick? I'm the guy." So tonight I'm going to give you a little brief summary of that, but later on when we can talk with refreshments and that, we'll go into details. First of all, 3 minutes for me is way too short. Anyone who knows me, it's at least a half an hour, if not 3 hours, so it's going to take a while. And secondly, let the cameraman know I'm going to take my hat off, okay? The reason I had to do that is when I went to Hilo TV for a half an hour interview, they actually told me to keep my hat on because of the reflections. So anyway, that's one of the things I want to let you know tonight. 3 minutes is not enough to tell you about the candidates. And you do have sites where you can go and do your own homework after this. So if you can go online, one of the sites would be the League of Women Voters. The League of Women Voters gives you a good comparison. So you can compare both myself, Wyrick, with Kleinfelder to see the difference between the two. The other one is Civil Beat. Civil Beat offers you the candidates corner. You can go there and look at the two candidates and compare them across the board. And the third is Naleo TV. Naleo TV is our public broadcasting public access TV. They gave us a full half-hour interview. So you can go and click that on demand and watch that entire interview in its entirety. And that way you can make the decisions of who to vote for coming up on August 11th. The other thing that's really important to know is our campaign for this year was interrupted with the lava flow. They actually closed our polling place in Pahoa. They actually sent the absentee ballots out 3 weeks in advance. So I'm hoping that those folks who got those advanced ballots had a time to research who they would be voting for to make the right decision. I wanted to let you know also that I am a newcomer to the island. We arrived in 2005. We came from the desert Southwest. We came from an area of western Colorado, southwestern Colorado, where we basically went through a 10-year drought. We had no water. Even our dryland farmers could not farm anymore. We had trees, our native trees, the pinyon pines that were dying. We had to come to a place with abundant water, and fortunately we found the big island of Hawaii. In finding the big island of Hawaii, we had abundant rain, we had abundant growing, and the one thing that we were most surprised when we came here was the community and the true aloha that comes with Hawaii. The first family that we met when we came to the island were Mike and Julie Tulane. Mike and Julie Tulane set the roots with us. Okay? Thank you.
So the last candidate on the agenda is Selena Blackwell, candidate for governor. Thanks for making it, Selena.
Hello everyone. My name is Selena Blackwell, and I'm very thankful for the invitation. This is kind of a big office, right, to be running for. So I just want to tell you a little bit about myself. I was actually born on Oahu, and my mother is Kanaka Maoli, and she also has English and Irish and Spanish, and my father is German, Polish, and Portuguese. And a lot of Chinese. So I've been really privileged and honored to have grown up in such a magical place. I love my home and I love our people. And I have been on a fact-finding mission for over 20 years. I was raised up in Kula on Maui. My mom took care of the Baldwin family. I also spent over 20 years on Kauai, raising both my children. They're both in college now. And I started my education in private and public schools. I also did missions in Micronesia and Mexico during my high school years, taking medical supplies, building schools. I put myself through college while I was raising my children as a single mom. And I have a social science background. I started off just about getting a real estate license and learning the laws of the land, and I started getting really concerned. Kauai is a little tiny place. to grow up in, or to at least be an adult in. It's like living kind of like in a fishbowl. So you basically know a lot about everything and everyone, and it's very simple to fast track and learn how things are run. So my time on Kauai, I was a pre-nursing student, and then I got into psychology, and then the DSM changed 4 or 5 times, and I started questioning the university, got involved with the politics, was a university student caucus delegate in 2002, 2003. At that time, Joe Bell was working on unifying the system under one banner. At that time, prior to that, Lily Kalau was doing a seated land inventory. We had the first Native legal students graduating. We had La'au La'au introduce graduates, not just graduating, but actually having their patients healed instead of just, cut and dry Western medicine style. So a lot of people have found that. And I guess my 3 minutes is up, right? 15 seconds. Okay, well, I also served as a civil service commissioner in Kauai. I was appointed by both Democrat and Republican. I also spent 7 years as vice chair for the Democratic Party for Kauai. Okay.
Thank you, Selena. And please stop by the registration table and get your red lei, because that's your meal ticket. I'm just kidding. Okay, so that wraps it up for the candidates forum for the introduction part. We would like to thank all the candidates, and I want to apologize in advance and hope that none of you hold grudges if I had to cut you off. I want to thank the FCE members, of course, for coming and for being interested and keeping yourselves informed. I want to thank Julia from Extension Services for the use of the room. Okay, we do want to remind you to please join us for refreshments that way. And you'll have a chance to talk to the candidates that stick around. Thank you so much. And yes, thank you there, Fred. The evaluations, please, that you got, if you can fill them out, that helps our organization so much. Sorry, I don't know what's happening with this. And Liz would like for us to sing God Bless America. I don't sing, but I can start it. Okay, if we can stand and sing towards the flag. I think that would be great. Okay, if you don't know the words or forgot the words, they're on the yellow piece of paper. Okay, ready? Go!